All right, so the next step is go to the Finder, so here, and let's open up this moon.jpg. All right, something like, there we go. Okay, good. And very simple, just click and drag it into here. It's gonna be behind all this. We want it right above the stars, so that's fine. Okay, good. And looks like there is something back here. Oh, yeah, there's a little bit of a line on that left mountain. We're going to clean that up. All right, for now, we're going to do a Command T, or free transform. So Command T, and we're going to actually rotate this by holding down Shift by exactly minus 90 degrees. You see that? And then let's just make it a little bit smaller, holding down Alt and Shift. And okay, I feel like the angle is going to be a little different. Let's hold this down again. Let's see, to make this perfectly straight, it's going to need 60 degrees. 60 degrees is pretty good. That's too much. It's not even that straight. So let's do something like this. And what's that, 55? Okay, something like that. Okay. And that's pretty good. So what we're going to do first, I'm actually just going to see if we put this in screen mode, the black should completely disappear, but the moon becomes semi-transparent, which we do not want. However, neat little trick is you go make a new layer, put it right below it, and just take a circle here, and make a circle like this. Hold on Shift, and let's fill that with black. Okay, deselect it. Now we have a black circle that's perfectly sharp. And we're going to go ahead and turn this into a smart object. And let's call this moon shape. Okay, this is the moon itself. And now in this, all right, let's take the move tool. We can do a Command T. So Command T. And make this bigger. And we're basically going to show exactly where the moon is. So somewhere here. All right, let's do edge to edge, bring it down a bit. Okay, little to the right, little to the left. Okay, let's hit return for now. It's a little bit too big. So Command T, an easier way to do small increments is you hold on this chain here, and let's say instead of 150, just bring down. I'm doing this with the keyboard. I did the down arrow. Seems right. Hit return, and we're pretty good. Little to the right over here. Let's zoom in, see what we got. So over here it's not great, and over here it's a little too. So let's move it to the left. 1, 2. It's a little too much. All right. So Command T again, and link it, and 1 to the bottom. Hit return. Okay. And now it's too high. So let's bring it down. 1, 2. Shift makes 10 increments. So 3, 4. I'm just moving it around with using the arrow keys. Now it's pretty good, but I want it to be slightly blurry. So filter and Gaussian blur. Now this is on my smart object, which is the shape of the moon, not the texture. And let's try 5. See what that looks like. It's giving it a bit of a shadow. So I'm not crazy about that. Let's do 1. That's not bad. Okay, I feel like it's not supposed to be totally circular, or at least this photo isn't. So I'm going to bring this down and actually squeeze this down a bit. So, not good. Escape. Command T again. I'm going to zoom out. I'm just going to bring this down a tiny little bit. That's pretty good. Okay. All right. So for now, that's good. Let me see. The black outline is not the best. 1 up. All right, that'll do. Something like this. And I do want the stars back here to have more definition. So let's go ahead and give this a little bit of an S curve. And if you don't know what that is, it's very simple. You go in here, you hit curves, and let's bring this down a bit. So an S curve basically has, by the way, if my curves look different than yours, it's because in here in the curves display options, I have pigment and ink, and your curves probably look like this, with the shadows in the bottom left, and I prefer using the pigment. I find it easier to use. Shadows are on the right, highlights in the bottom left. All right, so S curves, you can actually have them. They're preloaded. Here in the default, you have, they don't have them anymore, but you can do like a little bit of like a medium contrast, and you see that this S shape, it goes darker in the darkness and lighter in the lights, and that's an S curve. All right, so let's see, what's that before, after? See, it's bringing out definitely more definition. Let's bring out the highlights even more, darken it even further. All right, something like that. That's pretty good. And that's, we'll just call this contrast. Whoops. More contrast. Something like that. Okie dokie. And we want to darken these up a little bit, so let's go ahead and do that. But overall, definitely I need to be in the same sort of color space, and I don't have that right now. And that's because this is almost black and white, this has kind of a bit of a purpley, this is more in the blues, so we need to change our white points essentially. So there's a number of different ways to do that. A nice way to do it is using color balance, and we go here and we're going to add some blues here and here, so that's not bad. In the moon, I do also want there to be a sort of a stronger shadow in the middle there, so let's go ahead and do that. It'll help us tone that moon. And also another thing is I want it to be kind of definitely more tinted into the blues. So let's start with the shadow. So very simply, I'm going to go to Quick Mask, and then with the brush tool, fairly soft brush, let's do it like this, and click like there, and then get out of Quick Mask. Now I have a selection that's soft, right? If I go into my adjustment layers here, and let's do a curves, and I just bring it kind of up like this, right? Something like that. Now, if I move this around, it's like a shadow, right? So I can go and make this bigger. So what I wanted was something like this up here. Might be a little too strong, but it's good to start with. Something like that. It's a little too strong. Let's tone this down just a little bit. I really wanted the highlights actually to maybe come in a little. Whoops, not like that. So let's, this is fine actually, like this, something like this. What's really throwing me off is it's such a different color. One thing we can do is to, let's take eyedropper, I for eyedropper. I'm going to take this blue back here. Okay, somewhere back. Oh, I'm going to mask, that won't work. Let's go here. Here we go, blue. Let's take that blue right there. And I'm going to make a new layer, and we're going to fill it, edit, fill, and we're going to make it with foreground color, like so. And we're going to make this on color mode. Now it's going to turn everything into a single color, which we do not want. And let's just bring this down to say 20%. Okay, it's adding definitely some what I'm actually going to do is bring this up to 80%, and then what we're going to do is hold down the Alt, we add a mask, which makes it all black, and we're going to brush over where we really want it. So D for default colors. Now I'm in white in my foreground at 100% opacity, which is pretty good. And I'm just going to go ahead and brush over the areas that I really want it to be transforming in terms of color. Let's turn this opacity down to like 50 so that I'm not completely eradicating all the color. That's pretty good. All right, something like that. It's a little too flat, and we'll fix that in a second. Maybe hide some of it over here. That's not bad. It's a little too strong. Let's undo that. Let's go 20% opacity. Bring some back over here. That's pretty good. I like that. Okay, so that's a layer in color mode, and I want the moon to have a bit of a glow to it. So let's try that. Let's go to this and double click, and we have, let's see, outer glow. Okay, and I'm actually going to duplicate this because I want this to be separate. Let's duplicate this. We'll call this moon glow. Okay, right now it's just a circle that's slightly blurred. All right, now if I go in here and we do a outer glow, let's make this a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger, something like this. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm not crazy about that yellow-orange. Let's go with a brighter, I like the yellow, but not too much. Something like that. Okay, it's a little strong, but that's pretty good. Let's tone this down. Something like this. And then I also want a slight inner glow. So let's see what that looks like. Let's go with a white. Okay. And let's make it a little bigger. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go with an even yellower tint on this one. Or orangey. I'm on normal. Let's go to screen mode. Okay. It's not bad. Let's get it even warmer. I like that idea. I'm going to definitely tone it down, and I want it bigger. Okay, something like that. It's not bad. It's definitely, it's pretty strong, but we'll edit that in a second. All right, and what's cool is I'm going to add a mask, and then I want that, so G for gradient, and I'm going to go from foreground to transparent. So I'm going to make this all be, I want this to be visible here, the glow, and I want it to disappear slowly. So something like this, except not quite, because it got the whole glow here. For some reason, it's not doing it to this object. I'm going to go to the smart filter, and here we go. Let's do it again. And still, all right, so basically because it's a smart object, it's changing where that glow is happening. So to fix that, pretty simply, just right click and turn this into, convert this to a smart object and add a mask. And now I can very comfortably just say, okay, I want that glow to be here, but not up here. No, it's a little too strong. Let's do that a little softer, something like that. There you go. So before the glow, after the glow, it's very subtle at the top, and it's pretty strong right here in the middle. And all right, so now we do definitely need to darken and shade a lot of this area. So let's go back up to the top, and let's do that. New layer, still in the gradients, foreground to transparent, and let's pick the color like here, and let's close up this image a little bit. So I'm going to do a gradient, holding down Shift to keep that angle, and over here as well. Might be, yeah, that's pretty good. I'm basically doing 45-degree angles from every side, which is really helping me close this image off. Something like this too, a little bit from the top. All right, it's usually good to have it in multiply, so you're always darkening. You don't really want to lighten as far as doing this vignetting. So that's pretty good like that. Add a little more here. All right, and I feel like it's a little too dark up here at the top, and I think that's coming from not the color balance or from this. I think it's coming from that shade, the shadow that we did. It's a little strong. Let's take this. Let's turn this down, the opacity of this thing, just a little bit, something like that. All right. Also, I think the moon's a little too high. Let's take the curves, the moon glow, and the moon shape, and take it and move it up. That's better, much better. Something like this. Okay. And let's go back here. See, that black doesn't really bother me anymore. I'm going to see if I can bring it down a little bit. Something like here. And let's try to darken this even further. Unfortunately, it's just really blocking it. What if I do it like this? I kind of like this better. Yeah, I kind of like this better, actually. So I'm not doing it a curve. I'm really just, I mean, it is still a curve, but it's not a curve in here. So that's a little nicer. I feel like I'm a little too purple, so I'm going to go and make another. I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to put color. So this is a weird sort of artistic choice. With a brush tool, I'm going to pick, let's say, a blue that's more like here. I'm going to go at 20%, and I'm just going to colorize a little bit because I felt like it was a little flat. I had purples around. It was a little too much. And I want to pick colors like this and bring it in here. I want a bit of that purple and bring it in here. And I'm trying to basically blend this moon with these skies. All right. Another thing is these mountains, especially the one on the right, has it's much too light here, so we're going to darken that. To do that easily, I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to hold down the Alt key, while I click between them. So anything that happens to this layer is only going to be seen above this. So basically, let me make this clear. If I were to take a brush at 100%, if I brush here, nothing happens. But as soon as I get into the mountains, because it's linked to the mountains, that shows. All right. So I made a new layer. Let's take a gradient and let's make it black. And I'm going to make a shadow that goes like this. Make sure it multiplies. It doesn't, not very nice. Let's go and let's undo that shadow. Take a brush, make it a little bigger, softer, and let's go in here and just darken the edge a little bit. Okay, I want it to really see that edge. We can go and edit. We can go and edit a little bit of the glow in the area and stuff, but this really helps sell it that they're kind of in the same space. So left mountain, same thing, new, and then hold down the Alt key and just kind of brush around here. Okay, that way I'm not destroying this mountain if I ever want to kind of get that back. So that's pretty helpful. And let's do it the same for the plateau. New, link, and just kind of go in here like this. There you go, it's better. All right, okay. So now we're kind of all in similar planes. I feel like this one's a little soft. Let's go in here, and I'm gonna go lower, just add some darkness right here. It's better. There you go. All right, so I'm really just burning it a little bit. If I find like it's a little too much here, I can always erase with the eraser. Let's do that. Let's go 10%. I'm just going to erase a little bit of the edge. I feel it's a little bit strong. Better like that. Okay. And, all right. So, and then in the next episode, or lesson rather, we're going to add a light source over here and some rays. And that should wrap up this composite.